All right, welcome to another episode of the Thunder Underground podcast. My name is Trent.
Jason here.
And we've got another great episode, as we think we always do, at least with the guest we've got. We're not tooting our own horn.
That's
tooting
right.
the horn of the person that is featured here.
That's right. We know it's going to be a great episode because of our guest, but, I mean, it always is because, we fucking love our shit. So there you go.
This week we've got all three members of Spirit Caravan.
Yes.
So this is quite an honor to be able to sit down with these guys and talk for a little bit. And we're going to get into that here in a few minutes. But before we do, we would like to play a song for you. And this song is from a band called Slumlord Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And the song is called Fort Knox. All right, once again, that was Fort Knox by the band Slumlord Radio, a trio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. What do you got to say about these guys?
I like these guys. I did a review on our site. Like I said, they've got really punky, sludgy stuff going on, but they also have different tempo changes and different parts. To me, I don't know if I've heard some. I don't know. That's kind of a refreshing deal. So I really like that aspect of it.
Or didn't you say, it kind of had like a progressive vibe, but still that punk?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like they had all the different parts and rhythm changes. They could be a prog punk band or a punk prog band or something. I don't know. It just and I think that's also a ballsy move. So I enjoyed it, and Fort Knox is a great song. So I was happy to play them and hope everybody goes and checks them out.
Yeah, it's got a really cool guitar vibe that's reminiscent of where they're from. The Michigan area with the the old 60s, 70s kind of Stooges, kind of that kind of vibe.
Yeah, a garagey kind of thing going on.
Yeah. Somewhere, it's great whenever a band comes out where you can't instantly describe them to someone. Yeah. So there's a little aspect of punk, garage, grunge, stoner metal. It's got melody. It's got everything there too. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and it's also they're a trio, so they're also doing a lot of stuff with less, and sometimes that's really cool too. I like to see that sometimes. Less is more, or what you can do with less is really cool too. So that always gets my attention.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of tunes up on Reverb Nation, so just search them on there. And that song Fort Knox, I think, is from an album a couple years ago, but the version we just played you is an updated version they redid this year, 2015.
Okay.
And it's not on the album that you reviewed, which is Too Pretty for Tijuana, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and that's a great one. That was from this year.
Yes, and they have a video for Bullwhip. Search that on YouTube. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great video. We're not just saying that. It's literally great. You need to check it out. And you can find them on Twitter at Slumlord_radio. And they're on Facebook. Just search Slumlord Radio. They should be the only one on there called that, I would think.
Yeah, definitely.
Other than that, moving on, what do we got? We kind of mentioned this on the last episode that we had, or at least I went to 5 concerts in a row, 5 days in a row over the past weekend. And I know you went to a couple of them with me.
Yes.
And we kicked it off with Doyle, who's, of course, the guitarist from the legendary lineup of the Misfits. And he's got a new band out where it's more metal. And, he's got 3 dudes around him, singer and obviously a bassist and a drummer. And they're, it's still kind of got that punk attitude. And it's got the horror theme like all his stuff does, but it's got a more metal vibe. We checked that out, and we actually got the opportunity to record an interview with him. So
yes,
that is something we will bring to you in the coming weeks.
Yes.
So be on the lookout for that if you're a fan of Misfits or just metal or music in general. Then after that, I went to 2 Winery Dog shows, which there's not really much to say other than what we said before I went, because we've seen them live. 3 of the most phenomenal musicians you could ever see, put them together, and it comes out the way it should come out. Phenomenal.
Yeah, so you saw them 2 nights in a row.
Yes.
So you had your life changed 2 nights in a row, pretty much.
Yeah, twice.
Wow.
Yeah, we saw them in Ardmore.
Consider yourself lucky.
Yeah. Then we saw them in Dallas, and both nights they put on a great show. And then the following night I saw Gilby Clarke in Dallas, which was great, just as you would expect, good time rock and roll. The dude played stuff from his solo stuff and some covers of the Rolling Stones and Cheap Trick. And not much to say on that. It was just a good fun time, like you're going to get from someone like Gilby Clarke,
Yeah, you're you know what you're getting into.
Yeah. And then that leads us into this past, by the time you hear this, about a week ago a Monday night, we went to the Downtown Lounge in downtown Tulsa and had the honor to not only record this podcast you're about to hear, but see Spirit Caravan live for the first time that we've ever seen them.
That's right.
And we got there, we got there early since we were going to record this interview, and we happened to walk in while they were doing their sound check. So that was pretty cool, to be able to see that.
That was a privilege, definitely.
And, so there's a tidbit of info for you. If there's a band you like that's playing the Downtown Lounge in Tulsa, get there about 5 o'clock and you might get to see a sound check or something.
Exactly.
And they'll let you in because they're a bar serving drinks. They don't care.
Yeah. And from the looks of it, they were pretty happy with the sound, and it sounded really fucking good.
Yeah. I remember Dave Sherman, I heard him over there talking to Jake,
yeah,
the owner of the bar, talking about how that he thought it was he said he walked in, he was kind of like apprehensive because it was a small space and, just the way it was set up. And then he said it sounded better than anything he'd played on the tour, I think is what I heard him say. So.
Yeah. And that's, isn't that funny? Because, I mean, I've never seen a bad show at Downtown Lounge.
No.
It's always sounded really good. Yeah.
It's a small space, but it's kind of laid out to where a little different than a lot of bars are, the way they've got the stage set up with the bar, but it sounds great. So if you're in this area, definitely check that place out. Even if it's not a band, even if a band's not playing, it's a cool place.
That's right. Yeah. They've got kick-ass concert posters everywhere, a couple of autographed dime guitars. They have American Horror Story watch parties. I mean, come on, people.
Yeah. And the jukebox that you're a fan of.
Yes.
Because
it has a sign on it. This jukebox has a sign on it that says no Nickelback allowed, or no Nickelback, or Nickelback is not allowed, or something like that. And if it does get picked, it will get shut down immediately. I mean, that right there, that's my favorite place on earth, besides the new huge Quick Trips. But anyways, that's a whole other story.
Well, after all that, we had the opportunity to sit down we thought it was just going to be Wino and Dave Sherman, but Ed, the drummer, ended up being there as well.
Yes.
Which was great. So
all three of them.
Got the whole band. And if you're not familiar with Spirit Caravan, they're like a doom sludge kind of stoner metal rock, that whole vein of music that both those guys, or all three of those guys, were, part of in the past. And of course,
definitely the pioneers of it.
Yeah. And of course, Wino was, kind of like the figurehead of the whole genre.
Yes.
From back in the 80s. So, like I said earlier, it's quite an honor to be able to sit down and talk with these guys. And, they gave us a good probably 30 minutes worth of stuff. So,
and they were all super nice and super, engaging. They wanted to be there. It was just, it was crazy. It was probably, one of like I said, it was just, like you said, it was just an honor, to sit there with these guys that have been doing this for, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And they're down to earth as anything, and telling stories and cracking jokes. It was just a real privilege, to get to hang out with these guys for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of great stuff in here that I think you will enjoy as a fan of music.
Yes.
And if you're a fan of these guys, you'll definitely enjoy it. And after that, we, of course, got to see the show, which the band opening up, neither one of us had heard before.
Yeah.
It's called Dirty Streets. Or is it The Dirty Streets?
I'm not sure.
I think it's Dirty Streets. But
what I am sure of it, though, is that they fucking rule.
Yeah. Yeah, they... you're always, as a jaded music fan who's been around a long time, you're always apprehensive about a band opening up you haven't heard of.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
But it's always great when it happens. They start playing and you're extremely happy that you're there early enough to see that band,
Oh, definitely.
So definitely check these guys out. They're from Memphis. They're also a trio and they're great. Just kind of good time, 70s kind of. They're not really stoner rock, but they're on the verge of it, I think.
I think they've got
a throwback feel.
A throwback feel, but I mean, it's not corny and it's not forced. Their drummer was a fucking animal. I just liked watching the drummer. The whole band was great, but that was just awesome watching the drummer.
Yeah. And, of course, when we saw Spirit Caravan, Ed was an animal himself.
That he was a hard hitter, dude.
Yeah.
A hard hitter.
I was watching him play drums, and I'm like, man, this guy's gonna bust through that snare, Or through those toms, It's just like as hard as his hit nonstop the whole show,
There's two things I thought. One was, he's gonna bust a drum head somewhere. Two, he's gonna fucking fall over.
Right.
As much as he was just killing it, and again, that was just a treat to watch. They kicked ass live. Their set list didn't disappoint. They even did a couple of obsessed songs. They played Streamlined. That was great. Wino is a insane soloist. I don't know if he's really known for that more than just his, riffs and his songwriting and his, reputation for helping to start a genre, but the guy can just flurry all over the fretboard, and he's got those like weird fucked up chords that sounds great when you've got distortion on it. It was just Dave Sherman sang some songs that was awesome. It was just a fun show.
Yeah, they do not disappoint. If you're a fan, check these guys out. They're on Facebook under Spirit Caravan. They don't have a Twitter, but I know Wino has a Twitter. It's just his name, Scott Weinrich, all one word. So definitely look these guys up, and they talk about it here. You'll hear in a minute, but they've got new music coming. So look for that next year.
That's right. To
go with the previous couple albums they had. I know they had a couple EPs as well, but it's good, that these guys are back, doing music together again. They've done, both of them have, been parts of tons of different projects, before Spirit Caravan and in the 10 or 12 years that they were gone as well. But, this is a great band, so I'm glad they're back.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I think when you start talking about this band and this kind of thing, everyone just goes right to Wino, and rightly so. Again, it was insane just to sit there and, hear him tell stories. But, we got to thank Dave Sherman. I think he was the one that kind of corresponded with you to get this going.
Right.
And he was a super nice guy. So I just, even after the interview, once the show was going, he was at the merch tent, shaking our hands and waving at us and stuff. Just, because they're great to their fans. It was just a real honor.
Yeah. So with that being said, I think it's time to get into this.
Isn't that weird? Like, it's like the smaller, kind of like more, I don't really want to say the D word, but, smaller kind of club like that, maybe better feel, better sound. If you want like a big stage in like a big place where it's all wood and people know what they're doing with the sound, they put the money in the sound, and, you can't top that really big. Powered monitors, man, they have powered monitors. Each monitor has its own amp. See, that's important because, most people, when they have big PA systems, they don't put the money into them. They'll have all these monitors, but they won't be able to drive. Soundman won't be able to give you anymore, You've got like a powered JBL behind you, man. That thing's probably, you got as much as you need. Yeah. Hey, Donald, we're gonna be sitting over here doing an interview. We're just gonna be sitting over here doing an interview. I think this is like our chiller room too, or just like backstage.
This is so chill. I got a key to it, so I'm holding the key.
I think it's pretty cool to leave the guitars over there in the boat, right?
Yeah, this is a cool place. I like it.
Yeah.
I got a good vibe.
Just want to let you know where we're at.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah, definitely. We're rolling. So, what brought you guys back together in 2014? Or were you just always, together and just?
Well, we I moved back to California to Maryland specifically to do it, to put back together. We had like this entrepreneur guy that threw a little bit of money at us. Blues was looking for a friend of ours, but. He ended up being a total control freak and wanted control, but it was good because I made it back out here, and we hooked back up. And Henry Vasquez from Vitus was playing drums, and we did some shows in Europe, and we did like a tour in the States and tour Europe, and then but Henry had other commitments and stuff, and we were sort of at a crossroads, and then I was in a bar playing acoustic guitar in Frederick, Maryland, and Eddie shows up, and man, I haven't seen Ed or played with him in probably close to 30 years. 30 years?
Yeah.
So after 30 years, he shows up, and he's got no ties. He's got ready to rock, and so it seemed logical. I mean, there's a guy who started putting on a festival in Maryland, the Maryland Doom Festival. Not to be confused with the Death Festival, but it's on a smaller scale, the Doom Festival, and so we agreed to play it, and we put the band together and started rehearsing, and we thought it was good, it was fun, so we kept going. And so now we have we're going to be playing 2, maybe 3 new songs tonight, but we have songs in the can for a new record, hopefully next year, early next year.
Cool. Yeah. He said you guys had some new songs.
Yep, we have 2 new songs we're definitely doing, and one if we're feeling froggy. I mean. We should be doing that on soundcheck anyways. I keep forgetting because that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't want to lock it down.
Anyways, bottom line, we'll have a new record out, and so that'll be cool. That's what we need.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, how would you compare the stuff you're doing now? I mean, obviously the sound's going to be similar, but is the vibe considerable to the old records? Or?
I think it's the same as in like Spirit Caravan, Obsessed kind of vein, you know? Yeah. I mean, it's just you'll hear it. It's like kind of fast. We're playing kind of a fast, punky one, or we're playing kind of a dreamy, heavier one.
Like, what was the reason you guys split up in the first place? Was it
Spirit Caravan?
Yeah.
We
kind of ran
we didn't have a label. And nobody at that particular time wanted to invest any time or money. So basically, we couldn't find a label. And then there was a few personality issues flying around, and I was kind of at odds with the drummer and stuff, and it didn't seem like anything was going to change to me. So that's just kind of was sort of like the natural law of natural personality bullshit, I guess. You know, I mean,
he got pissed as fuck at us because we were acting like assholes. So basically, he fucking said, "Fuck you guys, man! You're acting like dicks, man. I don't want to play with you anymore." And we were.
I was trying to sugarcoat him, man.
But now,
things have changed. I think it's really changed. I mean, things have changed a lot. I mean, obviously, we don't have the same drummer anymore, and I'm not really sure that I'd ever be able to see eye to eye with him again. But me and Sherman always loved each other, man. It's like, it's really about spirit. You know, I mean, that's what it is. It's like spirit. You drive. I mean, this motherfucker's got the biggest heart, and most drive to just want to do it. I mean, here we are, all this time later, and we still don't mind getting in the van, and we understand what it is.
Yeah.
And, to us, it's fun. I mean. All we could do when we were in Maryland was, when the fuck we getting on the road, man, So I mean, to be able to bring the music out, especially like places. I mean, this is never Tulsa, Oklahoma has never been what I would consider to be like a major market for us, or even playing live. But you know what, man, we're here because we want to be here, and we want to bring the music to people, and we appreciate people coming out no matter how few. I mean, we played to 5 people, we played to 5,000, doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's the way to look at it.
That's the way you have to look at it.
yeah. But especially in rock and roll.
But that's what it is. I mean, I think everybody's got a good attitude. I mean, and we have a killer crew. We have 2 guys working for us this time, and they're the best 2 guys I've ever worked with. So it's like, I mean, I don't know.
They're pretty good guys,
pretty
man.
Fun,
the guys we took
fun.
With us, our crew.
So far, it's pretty fun.
Don and Brandon, they're at our beck and call. Pretty much 24/7. I mean, that's all you can ask for in a crew.
It's refreshing because it's like I don't know. You have people, nice folks, and it's nice to work with people that. It's like I can't stand arrogant people, man. Arrogant people with selfish people. That's I can't.
I would say that we're all too polite.
Huh?
Yeah. We're all too polite saying thank you.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It might seem a little rock and roll when you say thank you, but you'd be surprised how far it goes, man.
Yeah.
People in these clubs and shit like that, they're so shell-shocked by arrogant musicians. It's fucking. If you say thank you to somebody, it goes a long way.
Everybody's so jaded. You know what I mean? Oh my God, they really freak out when there's a nice person not acting a fool, acting. like their fucking, shit don't stink, or, on that level, you know what I mean? It's because everybody's the same. Everybody wants the same thing, just to,
sometimes you got to prove yourself to people. Like, I did
Yeah.
I did a really weird thing this summer when I played acoustic guitar for Zach Wilde. And my booking agent said unblackened, so we thought it was going to be unplugged. So we said, oh, this would be perfect. So he somehow managed to get me on. He managed to give me the support slot, and it wasn't unplugged. It was full electric. They were just sitting down. So that was kind of daunting for me. It's like 2,000 people. Nobody knew who the fuck I was. Every now and then there'd be like 2 or 3 people, maybe 5 people in the venue out of 2,000 that knew who I was. That's how spread apart the genre is. Really, it doesn't seem like it would be, but it kind of is. And but it was kind of interesting. But after a little while, just being on time and being polite about I would never take that stage until they told me I could, even if it was clear, just to set up my little acoustic amp. And by the end, about a weekend, and they were fucking giving me everything I wanted. They were really nice folks, and I sort of had to get there. If I would have been a fucking dick, and just been an arrogant motherfucker, then you'd be playing against, you'd be betting your head against the wall all tour.
Bottom line, you get more, you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar for sure. In any situation, music or life.
We saw you on that tour.
Oh, you did?
In Wichita, and that's what we were talking about. Like, it's unblack.
Does the guy got balls or what? Does the guy got balls?
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
What I thought was cool was it's just you and a guitar, but you're still like hitting the pedal and doing solo. It's like fuck it,
Yeah.
That was badass.
But hit up there alone
that fuzz pedal
in front of all those those people
like
shows, looking at your every move. You know what I mean?
You guys are at the
Not
show,
with a band.
You guys look familiar. Have we ever talked before?
When we met there.
Kahuna's, Big Kahuna.
Yeah.
That's what you got to call him.
Yeah,
Big Kahuna.
But yeah, it's like it's unplugged, but they're all plugged in. They're just sitting down. Maybe they should have called it the sitting down tour.
What it was, what it is. Here's what it is.
He did sit down with
what
the
I believe it
grand
is.
piano
What I
as
believe
well.
it is. I do believe that Zach might have a few health issues. Maybe. I'm not really sure if he can. I'm not saying that it is definitely, but from what I'm kind of gathering, like. I don't know what his problem was. Did he stop drinking? Like he had a blood clot or something like that?
Yeah.
Like I'm not really sure.
Oh my God.
If well, the way it was explained to me is they were like they were songs that they already did that had been reworked. There's like more piano and stuff, and I don't know why they were sitting down. I think maybe because he doesn't want to tour constantly standing. I don't know that to be a fact.
Probably helps though. Yeah. Probably helps to sit down and play.
But it was interesting, man. It was interesting. But the point I'm trying to make is like that I just tried to like kind of. Be as polite as I could, and by the end, it was cool. It worked out good. By the end of the tour, JD was out there jamming with me. We jammed together. He came out and played some songs. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, how was your reception as far as the people that didn't know you? Did you get people coming up to you?
I had a lot of people come up to me, but the thing about it is, I don't have a social media site right now and everything like that, and so I didn't really have any merchandise to compete with Zach either. So a lot of people came up, were interested in it. Were interested in who the fuck it was. But people really didn't know who the fuck it was. They didn't know anything. Like, I had my girl at the time selling merch, and it was, I don't know. It was hard. It was hard for her.
Yeah. Like, how do you guys write? Do you write together, or do you?
We do both. Sometimes he brings a riff to the table, or I bring a riff to the table, or maybe even a whole song to the table, basically. And then we fine tune it together. And then usually what we're getting on is we start writing riffs together, and then we're trading off writing lyrics. I write a lot of lyrics.
He writes a lot of lyrics.
But sometimes, but like the past days of Spirit Caravan, we collaborated on quite a few songs actually.
Absolutely. And we're playing like songs off pretty much a lot off Jug Full of Sun, because we're gonna release Jug Full of Sun through a little label, Henry's label actually.
Henry Vasquez just started the label, yeah.
Yeah. And so we're gonna do a repop of Jug Full of Sun for everybody, because a lot of people don't have that original record, that CD. That's what he's made. Yeah. So we repressed it in Europe through Andreas, and it just flew off the ones that he pressed just went away, pretty fast. So that was good. Hopefully maybe in the future we might repress the vinyl over here too, which would be real cool. That might be in the future of the Jug, because that's a monumental
It never
record.
did come out of vinyl until...
Not over here, really. It was, just there in Europe, but...
on the repop.
Yep.
Is that like after the new album?
The new album.
I mean, is that the plans to reissue it? Is that after the new album?
It's already been pressed. I mean, we'll have discs and.
Yeah, we got discs now already
Texas.
through Henry, and we just don't have them tonight. Sorry,
But we will have
but tomorrow we'll have them because we're gonna drive by there on our way to Austin.
We always want to press vinyl. If anything we have that can be pressed on vinyl, if somebody wants to press on vinyl, if we can do it, we will. Because vinyl is hot, man. Everybody wants vinyl.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
So, it's a motherfucker to carry around. It's heavy and everything, but man,
Who
it's
cares?
Yeah.
Sounds great. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you put that needle on that record, and it's just that analog feeling. You know.
Well, going way back to the early days of The Obsessed, you were in a scene that was dominated by punk and hardcore, and you always hear these stories about, punk kids and metal kids, not
It was
getting
pretty
along.
brutal.
Did
Yeah.
you catch shit, or
I
were you
did.
accepted,
I
or-
did. I can remember specific events actually. I mean, when I put the Obsessed together, we had there was a guy in town. He was a punk rock kid who used to be kind of a hippie, and he was working down this record store called the Smash, and he heard our version of Concrete Cancer off the Metal Massacre 6 record, because he was into thrash. This guy, he was into a lot of different type of music, but he was a punk rock kid, now. He wasn't a kid either. He was almost my age, I think. So, anyways, he told me, man, I really like that song, Concrete Cancer, because the middle part reminds me of the Captain Beyond. So we got to be friends, me and him, and he put together this band called Lethal Intent. He was sort of like a real go-getter type guy. He's an entrepreneur kind of guy. So he started putting the Obsessed onto like local shows. I mean, we already we grew up on punk rock. Our favorite bands were Sabbath, of course, but also Bad Brains. We loved Dead Kennedys, when they were back in the day. Dead Kennedys, Discharge, they had a little bit of fucking attitude and some attitude, and I really liked it a lot, but I was really into the Dead Boys, fucking, Pistols and everything, So we started playing out, and we already knew that we could play. We knew that we could, I'm not trying to toot our horn, but we knew that we could play fast. And we knew that that we could we could do it, and so we just waited for the opportunity. So we got a couple opportunities playing with some bands like we played with the Dead Boys on the first reunion tour. We played Bad Brains and on the Green Tape era. God, I remember walking into the soundcheck. They were soundchecking. And I remember walking to the old North 930 Club and walking in and being just pinned to this pole they had there, by that sound coming off that stage. But so there was but the scene was we had a pretty big following at the time. The scene was really split up. There was literally a line between the two camps. And I remember a couple times after we played the Dead Boys. I forgot to mention we had a pretty outrageous singer too. We started off as a 3-piece. We started off as a 4-piece, but then we realized we wanted to do something different. So we moved into the realm of 3-piece. Wanted to find a singer. So we finally found a singer. His name is Vance. He's a pretty crazy guy. We would encourage him to do nutty shit. His singing was okay, but he was a really great showman. So we encouraged him to whip it out and shit. He had fucking big crank for the little guy, and he would do all kinds of shit like that.
Green pea soup.
So okay, that was when we warmed up the CD. That was a Bad Brains show. For the Bad Brains show, when we supported the Bad Brains, what he did was he had this sculpture that he had made in school that was of a human head, but with no hair on it, obviously. So basically, it was kind of it was this not so veiled, just outright stab at the skin. I didn't know he was going to do it, but he took it and he set it on the stage. Right as we took stage, getting ready to play, and all of a sudden he sets this basically bald head on stage, and then he just fucking picks up a cinder block. And on 1, 2, 3, 4, he just smashes this head. So there's some sort of symbolic thing, I'm man, I'll tell you what, the kids, they
I looked at them, all their skinhead kids.
The majority of the kids didn't really care for it. But you know what? But the people that were paying attention were the people that counted. People paying attention were people Wendell Blow from Iron Cross, and SOA, Henry from SOA, Ian, John Stab, both took John Stab from Iron Cross, and then John Stab from the Government Issue. Those people were the people that are coming up to us going, wow, you guys go and play with us in this little bar. And, they saw that we could bring it, and we brought some folks, and so they liked the music, And I know that they hated when we played punk rock covers, though. It's remember Wendell telling me, God, I love it. I love it when you play Decimation, but I fucking can't stand it when you play Caught with the Meat in Your Mouth. Well, we had to play. You know, when we started playing, we had to play 3 sets. So like we were really scratching them up, you know. But I remember on the Dibbo show, maybe it was a Bad Rain show. One of those 2 shows, I was standing out in the crowd watching the band, and like some punk guy, like fucking kind of like careened into me intentionally, like basically fucking kicked me in the balls, basically. And he said, "Well, you look pretty rough up there," or something like that. And I was just like, "Well, here I am," you know. So he kicks me in the balls and dances away. I don't know, you know. I wasn't trying to fucking, you know, we were completely outnumbered, so, you know, I just kind of like slunk away. Actually, you know, because I just got kicked in the balls. But, you know, the bottom line is fucking, they didn't like us.
Wow.
But we hung in there.
Yeah.
And then according to, like, John Sabb and our crack people, when we passed the test with them, was when we played at this little club. It was a real popular hangout called Carmark's. It was a little nightclub where all the punks would go. And, PA shut. We played a gig with Iron Cross, I think. Got government mission Iron Cross, and the PA shut down. We were playing first, and we just kept playing. I said, fuck it, we just burned through our set. I was screaming the lyrics, you know, no PA. And I remember that show, and that's the show where after that show we were accepted. I was told,
Yeah.
whatever that meant. But I mean, another person that was really on our team was Tesco V. Tesco V actually enabled the Obsessed to play out of town because we played a bunch of shows with the Meatmen. Of course, the Meatmen weren't really a punk rock band anymore. Once they started moving it, where were they ever a punk rock band? You know, the Meatmen were like kind of a parody band, and like, you know, once we moved in, you know, I remember it was the era where Brian, what's the dude's name? Played him on the thread. Brian Baker,
Yeah.
and Lyle Pressler were both in Tesco's band, and he had them both wearing these like fucking these fake caveman outfits and shit, and it was like, you know, like I just remember it being pretty funny, man. You know? But
That's
but you know,
I got a question for you. Does weed is weed have any kind of deep meaning?
No, not
smoke
really.
dirt weed or whatever. Smoke dirt weed.
They smoke dirt weed, smoke good weed, whatever. Just as long as it's weed smoking, it gets legalized sooner than later. That's all I really care about. But yeah, it's pretty much that's it. You know, it doesn't really
Have
have
you heard
a
the
deep
CD?
meaning.
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, you gotta get into the CD, man.
Yeah. You definitely got to get it. We got a new EP coming out. It's called The Bong Remains the Same. And we got Rain and Bud on there, and Kleptus Butanus, and Drop the Wax, and Puff. We got a song called Puff. Anyway. But, yeah, and Blunt Force Trauma is our first one, you know. And pretty much every song's on there about weed except for one, Eat Pussy. And that's
Covering
it.
the bases there.
That's pretty much the basic thing. But it should be around, you know, and out soon. You know, if we don't release it ourselves, maybe Ripple will release it for us, maybe, or just like distro it or something. You know, but hopefully that'll happen in the future. But right now we're talking about Spirit Caravan. I'm talking about is. Probably going to do a lot of touring here next, like 6 months, you know, 7 months, probably for the next couple years. You know, we're going to be really hitting it hard now. We're going to try to really hit it hard. You know, that's what my outlook is for
We
the
can
band.
now, you know. Nobody's got ties, and nobody's got anything holding them back. And nobody's got a great job that they can't leave or something like that. So, I mean, now is the time.
Yeah, we're going to pretty much strike while the iron's hot. You know, we're not getting any younger. And this is our life, and this is our life pretty much. It's music, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been in several bands, you know. Wino's been in several bands. Eddie's kind of in.
He's been in a lot of bands, but kind of a little bit
He's
different genre, though.
Yeah.
He's played biker rallies and stuff with some rhythm and blues bands.
But,
Sturgis and all that mess.
you know, in our history, you know, in our history between me and Wino, you know, I mean, we've done so much, you know, and then when we get together, like now, it's great, you know what I mean, because everybody knows us from different other bands or whatever, but we were in the same band, and when we do get in this band, we really focus a lot, and there's a lot of love, and there's a lot of, you know, strength and power
It's
to
a
that,
common
you
cause.
know.
I mean, nobody's, you know, we're not as motivated I mean, of course, everybody has to be. You have to be motivated by money
Monetary
to some extent.
stuff
But we're not
really
so
our
motivated by
goal.
money that that we you know what I mean. Like we're not so motivated by money that we can't get along or that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
you
it's
think-
gonna. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
being away probably helps too, right? When you're gone for 12 years or whatever, people.
Oh
miss
yeah,
you,
we weren't
and
in
it
each.
helps.
Yeah, there's a lot of years.
Oh,
we
yeah.
weren't
When you
in
come
each
back.
other's pockets. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah,
something
the
to say.
fans are just like ravenous about us. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The people that like us, they really like us. Like a lot. Which is cool, man. I mean,
And what people do have to understand too, though,
we're
is
bringing a good message.
what people do have to understand too is though, that basically we are working in. It is a new band because Ed's in the band. So man, he had a crash course, and we learned as many songs as we possibly could. I mean, everyone's gonna have their favorite songs. I mean, there's still like 4 or 5 that I would still like to play that we don't play yet. But I mean, we got it. We started gigging. We started gigging and ready to roll before we really sat down and learned our whole repertoire. To be honest with you, it's like playing newer stuff is really important. And so I think we thought it was more important to learn what we did, and then start working on some new songs as opposed to just learning everything we do.
Yeah,
everything we've done.
and as far as like gelling as a band now, it's pretty cool because we've been having these like cool jams, like these open jams, or we just groove on something. You know what I mean? I make it up, or Scott makes it up. Or Scott got a riff, I got a riff. We just groove on that, or in a key of some sort.
One of our new songs live.
Yeah.
We just kind of just naturally morphed into like a song we would always end up. We just go into a jam, so that's pretty cool. It just worked its way out naturally, and there's no really set guideline to it. We know that when we're ending it, that's what's going to happen, and so yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. We go into this really cool jam at the end of the Sacred. That's the name.
Actually, I think that's the first time we've
one
ever
of the
done
songs
that.
is called Sacred. One of the songs is called So Mortal Be. No, I'm sorry. Be the Night. Sorry, I'm talking about the old song. So Mortal Be. Sorry. Title. Anyway, the new one is called Be the Night.
There's some versions on YouTube already for this tour.
Yeah, I think some of our new songs are already airing. Like,
That's probably what we'll call the records. What I'm thinking.
Be the Night.
Sacred.
Oh, Sacred. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
That's how I was going to kind of go into next is, a couple things. He said you had a crash course. How long did it take you to learn all this stuff, or was it a challenge?
We play 14 songs the first gig or something.
Yeah. 14.
Yeah, so I had to jump in on it.
Really?
And we had a week to do it
Oh man.
because he was still in L.A. and then he came back. So crash course.
Yeah.
We were trying
Practice
to
like
rehearse a little
crazy.
bit before he came back.
I was coming back up the Zach Wild
Wow.
thing, so I was doing it. I stayed in LA a little bit longer than that after
And then
that.
he's sick in Texas, and then
Yeah.
took him a while to come back. So, man, literally, like you said, crash course. It took, a week to learn.
But he
like
did an
14
amazing job,
tunes.
and then he was so, had these new ideas we cooked up too. So man,
And of course, we're doing some obsessed songs. Why wouldn't we?
Right, I was gonna say
We're
they took it
secretly
easy
the
on me.
obsessed.
Ruined one.
Yeah. Cool. I saw that there's like whole sets on YouTube.
Yeah.
Are you guys okay with that? Does that bother you guys?
There's nothing you can do about it. First of all, second of all,
Well, true, yeah.
Second of all,
Yeah.
second of all, I think it spreads the word. I don't know. I think that people would still buy the disc, buy a disc full of new stuff, even if you've seen a couple of the songs. I think it'd be kind of cool to see how the song develops. If I were a fan, I'd be tripping on. I'm sure that we're going to get like, I really like the version you do better than. But
Yeah.
bottom line is, there's nothing you can do about it, and I think it helps. At a band at our level, I think it spreads the word. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you
We
think?
recorded 3 songs too. The one is Razor Wire.
We recorded the 2 we're going to do, and then another one that we do sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be really cool. It's a little funky. Wino likes that, the funky, like a little bit, because like you said, there's not too many funky doom bands out there.
When I say funky,
I mean not funky like
but
like
it's
quirky, but like it's got a little bit of like Skinner funk,
I think
you
it's
know,
pretty
kind
cool.
of
We all
like
take
shit.
solos around. It's like a little jazzy. I don't know. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's a little jazzy.
Who's trying to play that tonight or what?
Sure, we can rock it.
When
But yeah, like you were saying earlier, our new songs, what we're going to develop in our new band, basically, it's like kind of the new Spirit Caravan, should I say?
Yeah.
That's what's
How
happening.
far is
right
Wichita from here, anyways?
2.5 hours. I
Yeah,
think?
2.5 hours
Yeah.
or so. Something like that.
Well, when you guys go in to record,
We already recorded 3.
Well, I mean, just like those 3 or any time, like how do you get in the right mindset to, because your songs, like your music and especially your lyrics, are a lot deeper than most bands, like, do you have to get yourself in the right state for that, or is it just something you can just do at any time?
It's got to be developed, and we'll flesh it out as much as we can in the studio. I mean, in rehearsal, it's really good if you can take a song on the road live. I mean, if you can take a song that you're going to record, the songs you're going to record, if you can take them out on the road, play them live before you record them, and that's really, really good, because then you really know how to, then you can really feel the song, you can feel how to phrase, you can feel how it's going to go. A lot of times, because the lyrics are to me, the lyrics, they either come all at once, or something, then or could be a slow crawl, So that on any given time to record, I'm probably still going to be finishing a few lyrics up in the studio, you know what I mean? A few last lines or a few last words. So it's nice if you can have the whole song finished and like how you're going to sing it, Then you can really build it out in the studio. But take it where you can get, It's
Yeah. It's we were working right now with Chris Kozlowski, the guy we've always worked with, on all
The early stuff,
all 3 records actually.
all 3 full lengths,
all 3 Spirit Caravan records we worked with Chris.
He's got an old style way of approaching it. He's really into guitar. Like, that's we strayed from him for a minute, and the bass player was a hidden hand. The bass player was a hidden hand was an engineer, so we did a couple things with him, and we have never gone back to him until now. But he has like I said, he's really guitar oriented. He's really guitar and the kind of 70s style is really important to him. I think he understands the big drum sound, but it wasn't a big drum sound and everything else comes around it. You know what I mean? Like how modern shit it got to be. But he's an interesting guy. He doesn't have
Yeah, we practice
no
in his
Pro
house
Tools,
as
man,
well.
no Pro Tools, no
So he just sets
computer.
up mics in the slave shack.
We're
out
used to
there.
Pro Tools now, So it's like
Yeah.
that can almost be like it's all about performance in that type of situation. There's not anything like let me grab a little bit of that.
Pro Tools, you can't move it around.
Do that a couple times and I'll
move
put it in.
the
you can't
chorus
do
and
that.
all that stuff. We know he's got the old school, man.
It's all about performance, man. So
You
you
gotta
take,
get
you
it
take,
right.
Yeah.
you take, you gotta be take. That's the way it was in the old days, You gotta work hard
he's
for
got
it.
the old school ADAT type recording.
Yeah.
No computer, that's almost unheard of these days, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's got mostly computer or it can download all that to Pro Tools and then mess with it there.
It seemed like it used to be like bands would catch shit for using Pro Tools, and now it's just like it's the norm.
Yeah, it is the norm.
Yeah.
It's so the norm, but basically, I've always believed, even though the obsessed with the 3-piece, Spirit Caravan 3-piece, I always believe, man, use what you can in the studio, use all the tools you can.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put down a couple fat rhythms behind it. I'll put down a couple when I'm taking a solo. I'll put down a couple fat rhythms. Why not, man? Make the recording whatever it can be. I think if we live, you won't hear that fat rhythm back there, but fucking we'll still hear it.
I think we covered it. It's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, that was good.
Excellent.
Yes, thanks.
Well, give us a,
We appreciate it.
Thank
Give a
you
card or
guys,
something?
man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you guys, man.
Yeah, thanks. It's awesome. Nice
I think you guys are familiar. We talked a little bit with Zach Wild, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you were out in the parking lot,
Yeah.
shaking hands and that kind of thing.
He's a nice fella.
Yeah.
Guy in.
All right, there you have it. Our interview with all 3 members of the Spirit Caravan: Dave Sherman, Wino, and Ed Gulli.
There you go. That's how it happened, people. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks to Downtown Lounge. Thanks to Jake. We even got to talk with him for a little bit, so we might try to get him on the show.
Yeah, that would be a great.
Yeah, it'd be a great one.
Yeah.
Again, check these guys out and check out Downtown Lounge, and hope you liked it.
Yeah, look him up. Like I said earlier, look him up, listening to him. Spirit Caravan, it's a great band. If you're ever a fan of the Obsessed, this will be right up your vein. They've even got, I know there's even a few Spirit Caravan songs that were old Obsessed songs reworked. So there you go.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. And of course, as he talked about in there, Wino's got a couple solo CDs out where it's just him and a guitar, and those are really cool.
Yeah, that's where we saw him open for Zach Wilde,
Yeah.
Black Label Society, beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
that
got
was
the,
awesome.
and I picked up, like at that point I wasn't really familiar with his solo stuff until we saw him. And then I picked up the Freedom Conspiracy album there at the show, and it's a great album. We can't say enough. These guys are phenomenal, musicians and artists in this genre of music, and it's just great, So we're glad we got the opportunity to see him here in Tulsa, and obviously the opportunity to sit down and talk with him for a bit for this podcast.
Definitely. Again, if you like bands like Down and High on Fire and, shit like that.
Caius, Trouble, Clutch.
Yeah, these are the guys that started all that.
Yeah.
So if you don't like that or you can't grasp it, then, to quote Adam Jode, your ears are broke.
Right. Be sure to check us out online at thethunderunderground.com. We've got everything up there, reviews, links to all the previous podcasts, and find us on Facebook at The Thunder Underground, all one word. Instagram is The Thunder Underground, all one word. YouTube is The Thunder Underground, all one word. And SoundCloud is Thunder-Underground. Well, with that being said, I think it's time to bid you adieu until next week.
That's right.
All right.
Have
Once
a good
again,
one.
Thanks for listening.